Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Micek, a fifth-year PhD student doing human-computer interaction research over at Worcester Polytechnic Institute in central Massachusetts. And my research advisor is Dr. Erin Soloway. Today, I'll be talking about thoughts and questions I have about cognitive personal informatics, as well as work that's in the very early stages of an ongoing collaboration with some wonderful colleagues at the University of Bremen, exploring ways brain sensing and these sorts of informatics could be used to support teams and assist with collaboration. This is not my first time at Chi, but it is my first time attending one of the workshops, so I'm really excited to see what it's about, and I'm looking forward to meeting all of you. So just to put some faces on the rest of us and give a sense of who we are, this is me along with my advisor, Erin, on the left, and we're researchers at the Interaction Lab at WPI. We have a lot of different projects ongoing, mostly relating to designing novel interactions for emerging technologies like brain-computer interfaces. We have a long-standing collaboration with Felix from the Cognitive Systems Lab at the University of Bremen, as Miss Lorenzo and Lassa are researchers in his group working with us on the project we'll discuss today. So brain sensing technologies have already started to reach the point of mainstream consumer adoption, and information about users' cognitive and emotional states, what we're calling cognitive informatics, is already being adopted in workplace and entertainment contexts to measure things like people's level of workload, focus, their mood, how relaxed they are, etc. And regardless of whether you think this is a good thing or not, the cat is very much out of the bag at this point. There are people who have purchased these devices who derive some sort of value for them. And my thinking is that it's up to us as designers of these sorts of technologies and interfaces to set a good example for others on how to leverage these sensing capabilities in a way that provides users with something actually useful without inadvertently harming them or making it easy for malicious actors to take advantage of them in some way. So these technologies exist and are out in the world, but what you measure and how you convey it to people is still very much an open question. There's been a lot of work done on developing and evaluating different ways of visualizing brain activity and other biosignals, but there probably isn't a one-size-fits-all approach for communicating to users what their brain activity is and what it means. It very much depends on the specific audience and use case. There does seem to be a trade-off between accuracy and interpretability, though. So something that's more raw might be a more correct visualization, but users might have difficulty actually interpreting it. And tools already available for people to use each navigate that differently. In general, though, for social applications, people seem to prefer visualizations that are more interpreted rather than just a raw depiction of the signal. Sometimes they like being able to make guesses as to how a given interpretation maps to their experiences, but overall, people want to receive information that provides context and meaning for their experiences. So instead of something like your delta activity was high from 4 to 7 last night, something like from 4 to 7 you were very relaxed might be more appropriate. Lots of existing work and tools making use of cognitive informatics has been geared toward individuals. But one thing that my collaborators and I are especially interested in is understanding how brain sensing can be used to support people working together in teams, because there are a lot of dynamics that are different or not even present when people are working together. There's prior work by Eloy and colleagues that demonstrated how, through some analysis of brain data collected during hyperscanning, so simultaneously between two or more people, it's possible to reliably measure levels of different cognitive processes that are important for team. But the question is, now that you can do this on the fly, what can you do with these processes to leave people with something more meaningful and useful? And to what degree are the considerations for these sorts of tools different from those for individuals? So the study we're gearing up to run is going to investigate this and take some baby steps to see if we can design a system that is able to measure these team states and convey them to users in a meaningful way, with the goals of, on the one hand, gaining a greater understanding of the brain during teamwork and what the relationship is between individual and team states, and on the other to gain some insight on how this data might be received and how we should deliver this kind of tailored feedback. And we've only just started internally piloting, so things are still up in the air and not fully formed, and we'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. But the overall idea is this. Since we're interested in teams, our study is going to have participants complete a realistic collaboration task as part of a team emulating a potential workplace of the future. So there will be 2 people at WPI and 2 people at Bremen, all with their brain data being recorded and working remotely as part of the same team to design a virtual escape room, with ChatGPT available to help them. Since this is a fairly complex task with a lot of different design elements and things to consider, This should hopefully give rise to plenty of realistic team dynamics. So sometimes one person might monopolize the conversation and with others taking more of a listening role. There might be times where there's lots of brainstorming and ideation happening, and other times where everyone is stuck or the conversation is unproductive, and so on. And after the task, we're going to show people measurements of their cognitive activity synced to the video of their task session, both everyone's individual workload as well as measurements of team processes like coordination, affect management, etc., and then give them an exit interview to sort of probe them a bit on what they think about the data we're showing them. So for instance, how comfortable they would be sharing it with others, what the possibilities and use cases for those sensing capabilities they can envision, and whether such feedback might improve their work when they're collaborating. So there are still lots of questions that are unanswered, such as whether there are different considerations in sharing team personal informatics versus individual informatics with others, whether it's possible to anonymize or aggregate team personal informatics in a way that preserves its utility, and what are the consequences for incorrectly interpreting or placing an incorrect level of trust in the feedback from this kind of system, as an example of some discussion questions. And I'm looking forward to meeting you all and discussing them with you. Thank you so much.